Hey friends, welcome back to BeWhole. Last week we talked about unconditional love and boundaries, how to love people without losing yourself. But today we are shifting into something that quietly impacts your peace, your clarity, and your relationship with God. Because here's the truth, many people don't talk about this. Being busy is not the same as being in the will of God. Welcome to BeWhole Monday Reflections. My name is Ivory Jamerson. I'm a clinical chaplain, a social work professional, a spiritual leader in local and international areas of ministry, and I am the founder of BeWhole. This space was created for one purpose, to help you live whole, which is spiritually aligned, emotionally healthy, and mentally disciplined. Before we begin, I want to invite you into this community. If these reflections are meaningful to you, please make sure you like or follow this page so you don't miss a message. Drop a comment below and let me know what topics you would like for me to explore in future reflections. This space grows with conversation. Share this message with someone who may need intentional grounding and clarity at the start of their week. We are building a community of people who refuse to live fragmented lives. Every week, we will pause together, not to escape life, but to enter it intentionally. Not to rush into the week, but to ground ourselves before we run. These reflections integrate faith, emotional intelligence, spiritual health, and practical leadership, because wholeness is cultivated. Whether you're a leader, a caregiver, an entrepreneur, a parent, a high achiever, or simply someone trying to live on purpose, this moment is for you. So take a breath, slow down, and invite God into your week. Today we are discussing something that is often praised, but rarely questioned. This is called busyness. Psalms 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Let me read that again. It says, "Be still and know that I am God." Notice the instruction here. It says, be still, not busy, not be everywhere, and not do everything, but be still. Let's dig deeper into what this means. We live in a culture that rewards being busy. If your schedule is full, people assume you're productive. If you're always moving, people assume you're successful. But internally, you can be overwhelmed, disconnected, and exhausted. And spiritually, you can be so busy doing for God that you stop being with God. Busyness can become a distraction in disguise. From a clinical perspective, constant busyness keeps your nervous system activated. You stay in a state of doing, which limits your ability to reflect, to process, and to regulate. Your mind doesn't feel rest, your body doesn't recover, and your emotions don't get a space to settle. Spiritually, busyness can block discernment. Why? Because God does not compete with noise. If your life is always loud, if you struggle to hear His still small voice, then you may be too busy. Even Jesus modeled a rhythm. He withdrew. He rested. He stepped away from the crowd. Not because he didn't care, but because he understood capacity. This is something that I have learned firsthand. I have learned that in order for me to be fully available for everyone who needs me, I need to learn how to rest. I need to learn how to withdraw and step away from the crowd to hear the voice of the Lord, to be ready to deliver the gifting He has given me to this world. He stepped away from the crowd not because he didn't care, but because he understood capacity. That is not disengagement, that is discipline. Being busy is not a badge of honor. It actually is a sign of misalignment. This is one of the reasons why I wrote my book, Whole, to help you come into alignment with the will of God for your life. Let me say it this way. You can be full of activity and empty of purpose at the same time. Let's take a moment to pause. Take a deep breath right now. Slow down. Ask yourself, what am I carrying right now that God never asked me to carry? Where has my schedule become full, but my soul has become empty? And what would it look like to create space, not just for rest, but for alignment? Sit with that for a moment. There has been seasons in my life where I had to let go of career positions to be in the presence of God. Even though certain jobs looked like a blessing, it distracted me from being who God has called me. It created a life of busyness to where I had no time to sit in God's presence, to truly hear His soft voice, and to be able to stay in a place of calmness. Busyness will make you feel important, but stillness will make you feel effective. One feeds your image, and the other feeds your soul. So this week, I want you to reflect on these questions. Where am I overcommitted? Where am I saying yes where I need to say no? Where have I confused movement with purpose? And why? Balance is not accidental. It is intentional, it is disciplined, and it is necessary for wholeness. So as we close today, I want to share with you that this topic came from one of you. One of my followers reached out and asked me to speak on being too busy and learning how to slow down. So again, I thank you for reaching out and trusting me with that topic. I want to say this to all of you listening. If there are topics you are navigating, things you're struggling with, or questions you want me to speak into, send them to me. Because the space is not just for me to talk. It's a space where we can grow together. And just like this topic, your question might be the very thing someone else needs to hear. Hey friends, thank you for being here. And remember, God loves you and so do I. I'll see you next week on BeWhole.